back, guys. It's been a while since I made a video. I've made some progress over the last couple of weeks, specifically connecting some of the Firebase backend to my frontend application, which is fantastic. So, for example, right now in my sidebar here, I actually get data from Firebase. If we go into the console, this is basically the structure I have. Sorry for the overblown light right now. It's just like the screen is just reflecting in my face completely. Anyways, so this is the structure. I have users, I have teams, I have workspaces, and the thing over here are my workspaces and the project inside of them. So the structure looks something like this. I have workspaces here. There is this document. It has a name. It has an owner, which is a user. Or actually, yeah, it's a user. Maybe I'm gonna change it to a team. Probably, honestly, it makes more sense. And then it has members of people you can invite. And in here there's a sub collection for projects, and there's one project which is our BMW project right here. And the cool thing is these things are already dynamic. So if I change, as seen here, my workspace into something like my, I don't know, cozy workspace and update that, it automatically updates it from here and downloads the most probable project files again here. This is still static and doesn't really offer any functionality, and right now it's kind of broken. I had to disable the breadcrumbs because they were freaking out with like the live data here because it wasn't matching yet, and also this is just like not working right now. The plan is to offer like a single and a double click to open files, similar to a browser, but like a file browser on a desktop, but also an option to just open something with a single click, which I think is also like a nice idea. Furthermore, I also added a Teams collection. My plan is to basically have all users also be in a team, even if they don't work in a team, and in the sign up stage they are like saying, no, I work solo. I'm gonna like start adding them as a team, because I feel like if they would change later on and are like, oh, actually I'm gonna invite someone where I'm starting a company or whatever, and I want to collaborate here, then I think it would be good to already have that set up. And that makes payment also a lot easier, because I can just check, hey, is it paid? How many members are in this? And depending on how I will do the pricing, but we'll see about that. I already have that hooked up as well into my front end. So if I'm looking here, here's my user object with the user info, which has like the avatar that I also store in the backend. Currently this is still like a dummy, but still that's here already. Settings and a team object. Now, one of my main difficulties really is to figure out still that Firebase is the best option, because I'm doing a lot of reads on my database already, and there's only 50,003 included in Firebase. So if you look at the pricing of Firebase, we can see that you have okay, I'm using my cloud functions, Cloud Firestore. I have this per month, which is 50,000 per day, if I recall correctly. Yeah, exactly. 50,000 document reads per day. And the thing is, right now, I'm, while testing, already drawing like a solid, I think 500 or something like that, just basically refreshing the page. So I'm thinking I have to figure out the best strategy to actually utilize most of it. Obviously, I don't mind paying for a service that I use, so also I don't mind paying for Firebase, but also the more I pay for Firebase, less my profit is, and depending on how many people actually pay for the service and how many people are just using it for free, because I will offer a free tier in some shape or form, it is kind of a problem. Like, it's, let's just say 500 per user per whatever day. I could have a maximum of like 100 users. Yeah, and the reads would be completely gone. And if only like 5 or 10% of people paying for the service that the app is providing, then I need to figure out if Firebase is working pricing wise, because all the other people would have to basically subsidize it. And with storage, that's not really an issue, and I'll get to that in a minute, because I'm not using Firebase and Google's cloud storage for that probably. But with the reads and writes, I can see this becoming a problem, especially like the reads. I think the writes not so much, but just the reads. I mean, to be fair, the pricing is, I think, not too terrible if you like actually pay for it. But obviously it gets steepish. Like this is okay, 1.5 million, that's just a 50,000 a day. Let's do maybe 300. Yeah. Wait, 1 sec. 3 million reads is 90 cents. Okay, yeah, maybe I'm making this problem bigger than I thought it would be, honestly. I don't know, if 10 million reads, and that's like $5, I think I can manage that. Anyways, but you see how, yeah, you're kind of struggling with like figuring out how to get the best deal and how to actually make this so it scales good and well. And that brings me to my next thing, which I already kind of teased, storing the files. So, as some of you maybe know, Firebase offers cloud storage, but only about 5 gigabytes, which are free, and then it gets relatively expensive. So let's say 5 gigabytes, which is not a ton. It says about 2,500 high-res pictures, which is about right, but if I'm scaling this up and think of people uploading bigger files and also any preview images, thumbnails, etc., then those 5 gigabytes will be gone very fast, obviously, and people will upload more than 5 gigabytes. Of course they will. So let's say about 1,000 gigabytes, so a terabyte. That's 25.78 per month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but obviously it adds up. It's a terabyte. And also the cloud storage is also, you need to download that stuff and you have to pay for that as well. And that's where it gets expensive, especially if Google. So if we say, which I think is likely, I'd have 1 terabyte of files stored and 1 terabyte of files transferred, so a 50-50 split, which is my current assumption, honestly. I feel like it could get definitely expensive on that side, especially, like I said, offering a free tier. But I checked and I looked around and there's options. Obviously, other companies offer cloud storage on object-based storage, and there are 2 I want to look or like show you guys, because I think those are my closest contenders, honestly. So one of them is Backblaze B2, or rather Backblaze and B2 is their cloud storage. It's an S3 compatible, so AWS 3 or AWS S3 object storage. It is pretty cheap, completely independent, which I find also very appealing, honestly. So even if I would switch from Firestore or Firebase to a different backend as a service or building my own one, the files could just live on there. which I find very nice, honestly. So no vendor login necessarily here. And if you check the pricing, it has a solid like only half a cent per gigabyte. So that makes $5 per terabyte per month, which is super cheap. And it's also hot storage. That means latency is okay. Like, it's not cold storage that needs to be thought up. The only thing here is that you pay for the download, which is fine, obviously, but I would prefer not to if I could, just because I cannot predict how the download will be. If it's, I don't know, suddenly like, oh, I need, let's say, triple the download versus the storage, then it gets expensive on this side. So if we look here and say, with our example of 1 terabyte each, so 50-50 split, I would pay about 180 per year, which still is comparatively really cheap to Google Cloud. But there is another option, which I found, and I'm very leaning towards this one. Contabo is a German company, so they're definitely GDPR compliant, and they have a very good like pricing, and it's very good. It's very new, so it's about $250 per 250 gigabytes. So it's more expensive compared to Backblaze. But what they do offer, which is really nice, they do offer basically a free transfer, which you don't find too often. And if you find it, there's sometimes weird things attached to it, basically like, oh, you cannot download more than you store and something like that. And obviously, in my case, I'm not sure if that's the case or not. Anyways, so in this scenario here, they have 1 terabyte of storage and 2 terabytes of data transfer each month. And it's literally only like 10 euros per month, which is fantastic. Versus Backblaze, if we would do a math here, 2 terabytes, that's like 300 a year versus 120-ish per year. And even if it's only 1 and 1, it would be still cheaper. The only situation where it would be cheaper to go with Backblaze is if I basically don't have, like, I have 20, like not 50-50, but like 75-25, like 75% just stored data, like the capacity, and then 25% download. Which, like I said, can't really tell right now, but I think that's a very fair price that they offer here. Alright, so this is basically where I'm at right now. Like I said, I've made some progress. One last thing, I'll try probably next to start designing some marketing material in, for example, a website, and also a like social media kit or something like that. I'm really drawn to like a good animated UI and like After Effects. I think when you look at Dribble stuff or some other like software as a services, it looks just nice if you can see the functionality right in front of your eyes. Like, you don't have to read through all of that stuff, even have like a voiceover and something like that. Anyways guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Sorry that the updates are kind of spare or sparse. Subscribe if you want to. Tell me what I could improve, or if you have any other ideas, especially regarding Firebase. And I'll see you in the next video.